Mary Lennox had never known such a strange house as Misselthwaite Manor. It stood on the edge of the moor, wide and low and sprawling, with countless rooms and corridors that seemed to stretch on forever. As Mary walked through it, she often felt as though the house itself were listening. There were many doors, most of them closed, and many passages that echoed softly beneath her footsteps. Sometimes the wind moved through the long halls and made the curtains stir, and Mary would stop and listen, wondering if someone were coming. But no one ever did. She began to feel that the house was almost alive, filled with quiet thoughts and memories. The silence was deep, but not frightening. It made Mary thoughtful, and she found herself noticing things she had never cared about before. Outside, the grounds were just as wide and lonely as the house. The gardens stretched far along the walls, and beyond them lay the open moor. Mary walked there often, wrapped in her coat, watching the sky and feeling the fresh air on her face. She had grown stronger since coming to Misselthwaite, though she hardly noticed it herself. One day, while she was walking near the gardens, she heard a sound that made her stop. It was the clear, sweet note of a pipe. Mary listened carefully. The music did not sound lonely. It sounded cheerful and kind, as though whoever played it was perfectly happy to be outdoors, alone with the wind and the trees. Following the sound, Mary came upon a boy sitting under a tree. He was playing a simple tune, and around him were several animals. A crow sat near his shoulder, watching closely, and a small lamb stood nearby, as calm as if it belonged there. The boy looked up when he noticed Mary. He did not seem surprised to see her. This was Dickon. Mary felt at ease almost at once. Dickon spoke to her in a friendly, easy way, and his smile made her feel welcome. He seemed to belong to the moor and the gardens as naturally as the birds and animals did. They talked together quietly, and Mary learned that Dickon loved all living things. He knew the names of birds and flowers, and he spoke of them as if they were old friends. Mary listened, fascinated, feeling something warm and gentle settle inside her. Dickon spoke of the gardens, and Mary felt herself wanting to tell him about the secret garden she had found. She did not speak of it yet, but she felt that one day she would. As they talked, Mary noticed how peaceful she felt. The strange house behind her seemed less heavy, and the wide moor ahead felt welcoming rather than empty. After that day, Mary often thought of Dickon when she went walking. She felt that she was no longer quite alone at Misselthwaite. Soon after, Mary returned to the secret garden. She unlocked the little door and stepped inside, closing it softly behind her. The garden lay quiet, just as it had before, with bare branches and resting soil. But Mary knew now that it was alive. She walked slowly along the paths, careful where she stepped. She noticed small signs of growth, tiny green points pushing through the earth, buds swelling on branches, life waiting patiently beneath the surface. Mary felt a deep sense of peace as she stood there. The garden did not need rushing or loud voices. It only needed time, care, and gentleness. She thought of Dickon and how he loved growing things, and she felt sure that he would understand the garden just as she did. Before leaving, Mary paused and looked around once more. The garden felt like a promise, a quiet place where things could grow safely, unseen, until they were ready. She locked the door carefully and slipped the key into her pocket. As she walked back toward the house, the wind moved softly across the moor, and the strange old manor no longer seemed so silent. Mary carried the garden with her now. Good night, and sweet dreams.